Wow. Never been on this side before. I have all kinds of jokes. I just got your notification.
That means it's working. See, that's what I'll be needing to know. I ain't even need to click that.
So how long do you think it takes? About 10 minutes for you to
you tripping, right?
No, I'm asking you, how long do you think it? I mean, I know I've seen you spend like 30 minutes.
It be 45 minutes at the minimum to add. And I don't never get everybody no more.
Have you ever just stopped? Like, have you ever just been like, I'm not going?
Yeah, and then them numbers be low as shit when I don't do that. I'm just telling you, like, that's just how it be.
That's funny.
It is.
Oh, I see.
But it's true.
I see the light you was talking about.
Right. God, body.
Mm-hmm.
God, buddy. And see, because I be doing this, they'll tap in, but we ain't talking. They'll tap out. And then miss the whole show. And that ain't on me because the show gonna go on. You just gonna have to catch it later, cuz.
Right.
I'm like this here for as long as we see. Look at this. I need my watch. As long as we've been doing this, they should already know.
Right.
He need a minute.
Right.
Right. You know, personal. I need a minute to get myself together, man.
Right.
I don't see nobody up there trying to come get paid to do this part. I done offer money. All you gotta do is come here and click things on my phone so I can get my show started. Ain't nobody trying to make the quick little cut lives and shit. You man cut lives, nigga. Come on, get these cut lives, nigga.
That's hilarious.
Try to act like you don't be on here doing dope shit. You done bumped your motherfucking head, cuz. On some real shit though, nigga, we'll come to your house. Like, don't play with me. My pull-up game is ridiculous. We'll come up to the crib, nigga. Hit us in the inbox. Let us know you about that action. We'll come to the crib, man. We will. Bring all this shit.
Word though, but the show must go on, even if somebody don't come. You know what I'm saying? The show has to go on. So
it's good with you, boy.
We thug it out till we do.
When you gonna come on here? Stop playing with me.
Oh snap!
I know you got something to say.
Oh snap!
A cousin from around the way. Come on now, we used to do this shit every day. Yeah. When you gonna come on the show, man?
Oh, stop! That's dope. You get like little notifications and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, all of y'all, welcome to the Real Rap Talk podcast. You know, we're trying to get things started in here.
Yeah, this your first time on this side. I can tell because you just there seeing what I be doing. You be swear up and down. I'll be talking to you when I don't.
What?
You be swear up and down. I'll be talking to you. I'll be talking to them, man.
Nah, I know you be talking to them.
You get to see it in real time now.
Yeah, being on this side is a little bit different.
That's where the magic happens, man.
Yeah, I see that.
Welcome to the Real Rap Talk podcast.
Right. So now I can't even call you DJ no more. I feel a way about that.
Right. I'm an engineer right now.
But you went from who that DJ Incredible to now just F it, huh? Just forget all of it.
I mean, because at the end of the day,
that's how people know
there's people who know me. There's people that don't know me.
Right.
And there's people who are getting to know me.
Right.
So I looked at that and was like, well, we don't need to confuse the masses.
Right.
Because they're going to be talking about all three of us either way it goes. So, you feel me? I was like, fuck it.
It's 22 personalities.
Right.
And we've even had people before that just kept
I got
saying base.
Yo, I got 3 different niggas out here on the streets. Don't play with me. We all look alike.
Brother from can you say from another mother? You can't even say that.
Nah.
It's your brother from the same mother?
They did. 3 different soldiers out here on these streets. Speaking of
trauma.
So nah. The illest shit that I have experienced since I've been down here, I had a dude walk up to me and my old lady getting out the car at the supermarket, right? And the nigga, I was like, yo, what's up, my dude? Blah, blah, blah. What you been up to? Immediately start talking about the studio. So I was like, you rap? He was like, yeah, you know, I knew everybody around here that got it in. I ain't never know him to get it in. So I was like, yo, will you be recording that? This nigga said he be recording in my studio. So my peoples was like, my lady was like about to say something. And I was like, nah, let it play out. This nigga had a whole conversation talking about me and his boys be at my spot.
But dude, what's his boys here? Nobody was here.
You see this look on my face? I ain't never seen this nigga in the spot, but you gotta understand, this nigga had a whole conversation telling me about me.
That's crazy.
Hey, that is crazy that he didn't even know he was talking to me.
How did that end?
Come on, man.
How did that
we let it play out.
Yeah, I told him about
we let that shit play out, yo, but that's just ooh.
Yeah, that shit sounds
it just goes to show how sometimes, man, you gotta be mindful of your light.
Right.
It wasn't nothing that, you know. Yeah, real talk, yo. I ain't clown the dude, I ain't belittle him or none of that. I just let it play out. I was flattered. It just let me know that I'm making some motherfucking moves out here in these streets. That niggas see me, but they don't.
They don't see you.
You feel me? You're like, yo, really, my nigga? That's what's up. You be at the spot? Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
At least you know.
But for an entertainer, somebody who's popular and making moves like that, I expect that.
Right.
It's like it's hard to be invisible, but then be visible doing what I do. Right. So that was just me balancing out some things that I had going on in my life.
Right.
That's just the price of that.
Well, y'all make sure y'all definitely stay tuned in. We have a special guest.
Oh, definitely. We going all the way to Chi-Town on y'all tonight, man.
I'm excited.
Word up.
I'm excited.
Word up. We going all the way to Chi-Town on y'all tonight. So please tune in. I'm just doing a few ads, man.
I see you just.
Yeah.
That's what you be doing
for 45 minutes. Yeah, for 45 minutes. And I don't never get, look, if I do this, look, I ain't nowhere near the bottom.
Well, you gonna
look
where you left.
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not. I'm gonna start from the bottom because I never get those people.
Oh, word.
Look, I'm still doing it.
That's a lot of.
Right.
Are those people or groups?
These are people.
Those are people.
I'm still doing it. And y'all be wondering why the hell I be looking like I be ignoring y'all. No, I'm still doing it.
Okay, you can stop.
I ain't even got to the bottom yet.
I would have gave up by now. Like that.
This is why. Okay, it's there. This is why Facebook needs to just put a select all and stop playing because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I swear.
How would you allow me to have these many people on my friends list, but if I go live, I can't add them? I gotta add them individually. Come on, man.
It's crazy.
Hey, I get my views organically. I ain't with no gimmicks. I'm not gonna fool y'all with fake titles or none of that bullshit. Real rap talk. We straight up, no chaser, man.
That's what we do.
You can call the show ghetto. You can call us unprofessional. You can call us anything you want. Stop. But please know this one thing. We rode with y'all through the whole pandemic. Faithfully. Yeah. Feel me?
Yeah.
I'm not no big name on TV. I don't care about that shit. This podcast, though, has been consistent all year long. All 2020. And now we halfway through 2021. Really so loyal people, and we have some. They rock with us. When they get their notifications, no doubt.
People that comment even after we finish the show. We got people in Australia, from Germany,
Brazil.
Yeah. They rock with us, man. That's what we do. That's what we do.
And we always get a new person to tap in when they do tap in, and they have a good time, and that's all I care about. Because at the end of the day, if I hung out with you, this is how we would talk. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna pull some cards out here in the world, but we're gonna say some real shit, man.
Word. So while you finish doing that, I'm gonna bring in our guest.
I don't know quantum physics and all of that shit. Hell.
Not quantum.
But I will tell you some real stories about some real people.
Right.
And we stay current.
Absolutely. You have to. You have to.
Yo.
BEL.
What up? What up?
Give me a mic check one time.
1 2 1 2.
Oh, he kind of low. We
He's low.
We need to move him a little closer to that.
Okay. All right, sure. One more.
1 2 1 2. What up? What up?
All right, we got you.
We good. All right, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm excited. I'm excited to have you. So we're setting up, pulling everybody into the stream. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to share that, I don't know if you follow the podcast Twitch. On YouTube. Yep, Mixcloud, Twitch. Where else? There's so many.
Okay.
There's so many.
Yeah, we on a lot of platforms at one time right now.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing.
No doubt.
Yes. Welcome to the Real Rap Talk podcast.
Yeah.
I usually start off with the handles. We usually have you guys send out your handles where people can find you, download your music, stuff like that. So tell the people where they can reach you.
Okay, if you want to reach me, you can find me at your nearest gas station selling CDs. No, I'm just playing.
You did.
You sell CDs. Oh my God.
No, I don't sell no CDs or no DVDs. To me, that's old technology.
Right.
Some people still got them though, but everything digital now.
Right.
You can find me pretty much anywhere at JBEL the Great. JAYBELLTHEGREAT. Instagram, I think Snapchat. I don't really use Snapchat much. Facebook. If you want to find my music, you can also find it on any streaming site or YouTube by typing in JBEL the Great.
All right. You hear that?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm excited about this. So let's get started. I know you're constantly adding people, so whenever you want to pop in there, you can.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
All right. So we always talk about growing up in inner city here. So you are from Chicago, Illinois. So what was it like for you growing up in the 80s in Chicago?
Well, it didn't seem like any anything tough until I became an adult and saw how other people may have grown up. It wasn't. I mean, you know, we grew up poor, low income housing. I'm from the north side of Chicago. A lot of black folks are or mention being from the south or the west side. There is also an east side of Chicago, but it's not mentioned as much outside of Chicago. I am from the north side. My family is from the south side. But me growing up, I grew up in a city, one city above, I guess you would call it a suburb, called Evanston. Evanston is where Northwestern University is, and actually, recently, Evanston is one of the first cities to introduce reparations to its older black families.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it made national news. It's not the same type of reparations from slavery. It is reparations from redlining. You know,
Now,
so redlining.
explain that.
Okay, redlining was a form of discrimination against black people to keep them out of white neighborhoods, even if they could afford it. So they just basically was blocking them,
Right.
and they are trying to make that right now.
Wow.
That is also why a lot of people mention being from the south side or the west side, because back in, I don't know, maybe the 50s, they didn't really want them on the north side.
Okay.
So, you know, but what happened is over time, when they started tearing down like projects and things, they started pushing low-income housing out into the suburbs.
Gentrifying in the neighborhood?
They trying to, and it's happening now. Yeah, that was the plan. I don't know what kind of span of time they wanted. Maybe over every decade they measured how much they could gentrify things.
Right.
So I grew up in Evanston, but the interesting thing is Evanston is a suburb of Chicago, but I grew up in low-income housing, single-parent household, a two-bedroom. It's crazy because it creates a thought process that you have to unlearn. Like, my grandma was one of the first people in this low-income housing, just row houses, two-bedroom. She moved in probably before I was born, and then my mama moved in probably when I turned 5, I think around here, to get a little support.
Right.
So I grew up, let me see, my grandma, my mom, my auntie, her son, he was about 10 years older than me, and his girlfriend. So all of that in the two-bedroom house. My grandma and my auntie used to sleep in the living room. They both had a couch. They sacrificed the room. I had to share a room with my mom. Probably till I was about 10. I ain't had my own bedroom, you know, and I didn't realize we was poor because everybody around me was in the same boat.
Right, you was used to it.
What's up?
I said you was used to that. That was normal to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so you can't miss what you never had.
Exactly.
That just was what it was. I didn't know. I knew there was more because I also very young, you know, I had a multicultural set of friends, so I got to see how they were living, and their houses just looked way different. The way that they handled things, and all of them had 2 parents in their house, and it was common. Everybody I knew, maybe a few people that I knew from school, but most of my friends, we grew up with our mamas or our grandmas, you know, and gang banging was around. You know, that's gang culture is heavy in Chicago. It has pretty much spread everywhere. And the thing about it is, growing up, even if you're not in a gang, you affiliated if you're in that neighborhood because those are your friends.
Exactly.
You know, so it's really no way around it, but you may not get into it as deep as them, or they may see something in you that they want to keep you out of all of the shit that they into. And me, I was always into music, like, cause my old man is a blues musician, and
all right.
I've been in the music all my life, and I always been a little bit brighter at it. So people tried to keep me out of shit, you know, but those was my friends. I grew up around it, and now I live in the South, and I've noticed a huge difference in the grid.
Right.
And I think that makes a whole difference in the lifestyle. Like, what I noticed that was most impactful is there's not many places down here with like sidewalks and corners.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, we was talking about that a couple of shows ago, like no sidewalks.
Yeah. But that changes everything. Like growing up and having to go to school, niggas would hang on the corner.
Exactly.
You know, that's where that was the hangout spot. So
Right.
if you was in the street just chilling, everybody's on the corner, and if you try to get to where you gotta go through that. You know.
Right.
So going through that could mean a lot of things. Like you, very young, you understand how not to be timid because you got two choices when it's some niggas on the street and you're a youngster or even a teenager. You could either go around it or you could go through it. And if you go around it, they're gonna treat you
Exactly.
every time.
Right.
And
You know what I'm saying?
and that also makes you a target if you go that route.
Exactly. They know every time that you don't want no problems. You're trying to avoid it. And going through it don't mean you want problems. It's just like you got to face what's in front of you.
Right.
And so that has shaped a lot of my mentality about getting things done in life because that's a hardship and you gotta knock them walls down. Sometimes you could go around it, but if you must go through it.
Right.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right.
So I love growing up in Chicago, but in the 80s, I grew up in the 80s. Gang culture was heavy, and in the early 90s, when the Living Color was popular, I think it happened nationally, but I was a kid. But Homie the Clown, like people was dressing up as Homie the Clown and snatching people up.
What?
Oh, so hold up. So
What?
y'all had the killer clowns in y'all area too?
Hey, we had Homie the Clown, and we was, man, y'all better stay inside.
Wow.
The shit was crazy.
Wow, I ain't know the killer clowns was international.
They was real?
No, they was real. Yeah, people was with the shits. You
Wow.
know, like snatching kids and disappearing people, hurting women.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, the killer clowns was worldwide, man.
That's what's up.
Hey, I'm telling you. Hey, them times was crazy. If we had internet and cameras like we do now, the shit they would have seen.
Right. And that is crazy because B has said, I think before about the killer clowns. Them not seeing anything, but them hearing that it was clowns doing stuff to people and to stay in the house. And that was real.
Yo, they used to pop up in our schools. It used to be sightings in like by the girls' bathroom. And like the whole school would be in panic mode because some girl would be hysterical because she saw the clown in the bathroom. Now the whole school gotta move a certain kind of way. You feel me? That shit was real, man.
It was different.
Yeah.
Wow.
On everything.
My mind is blown right now.
What's up?
I said my mind is blown. I didn't think that was real.
Oh no, it was definitely real. It was on the news. I don't know what made them be inspired by Homie the Clown, but that's what it was. And it's kind of crazy too, because the more history I learn about my area, I was like, Evanston is like maybe 2 cities over from where Gacy lived, John Wayne Gacy.
Wow.
That's crazy, because like O'Hare is the major Chicago airport. There's also Midway, but O'Hare is the bigger airport, and O'Hare is where Des Plaines is, and so John Wayne Gacy lived out in Des Plaines doing all that crazy shit.
Wow.
Hey,
John Wayne Gacy, for those who don't know, is an American serial killer. He hid the bodies in a crawl space in his house.
I'm telling you, that's like, how do you hide that smell though?
You don't. I think that's how he got found out, right?
Everybody didn't used to wear cologne back in the day. That was a normal smell.
Hey. No, that shit was crazy though. But it's a lot of history to Chicago, and I love my city. I miss it because I don't get back enough, especially when the pandemic hit. But
So what about crack? What about the crack era? Did you see any of that? What that was doing to your city?
Absolutely. The funny thing is everybody got a crackhead that they know in their neighborhood that they joke with, because you can't take crackheads serious when they say shit. Because I told my lady, because you know out here they got crackheads too, and she from out here, and this crackhead said some slick shit to her, and she was ready to go off. And I said, "Oh, you can't go off on auntie.
Right.
You just got to laugh with them. They not in their right mind."
Right.
And what I realized is crackheads are probably the most confident people on the planet. They ain't worried about what they gonna say to you.
Yep, straight shooters.
Crackhead on everything. I just seen a crackhead ride a bike down the street with a mattress in one hand and his arm on the handlebars with the other. If that ain't some confidence, I don't know what is.
What? I done see the crackhead talk shit about another crackhead's crackish ways. So I don't know. I mean, I get it. They say what they say.
Hey, they believe in themselves.
Right.
They will stop at nothing to get what they want to get done. You know, but they also comical. When I was growing up, we had some, and you know, they were real funny. Some of them talk to themselves while they walking, and there was one lady, well known around the neighborhood. Just to walk down the street, she'd be saying her jail numbers. You know, you say what's up to her, she'll stop her conversation with herself and say what's up, and then maybe ask you for $1, and then keep it moving.
You did,
you know, but they crazy. They crazy everywhere, man. You know, and
oh shit.
Honestly, my memories of growing up wouldn't be the same without crackheads, because crackheads have never really done much damage to my immediate family. I know for some people, crack really damaged their family.
Right.
For me, crackheads was an ingredient of the neighborhood, and you know some of them still, like the men, some of them still had that, they had men's strength still. Some of them wasn't too far gone. Like one of them, like I said, he used to hold the motherfucking mattress over his head and bike ride.
Nigga was strong and determined.
And I don't think he really wanted to try it.
Right.
Straight up. And he ain't got nothing to lose.
Right. Where was he going with the mattress though?
I don't know. He's probably taking it to the crib. You know, he probably found it. I remember one story. One day I was walking down the street, and you know, I don't even think it's just exclusive to crackheads. But one day I'm walking, and you know, that's another thing. We got alleys, and alleys is where shit happens.
Yeah, man. I used to be in them alleyways.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I didn't realize everybody ain't have alleys till I started traveling. I'm like, I see what the difference is, because these alleys, that's the cut. You know, I done seen people out there taking shits, you know, doing whatever they got to do.
Ain't no rules in the alleyways, yo.
Exactly. And she apologized because I'm hard, but I'm like, man, it's better out than in, you know. Better than shitting on yourself. Look though what you just said. You can walk through one alley, see a motherfucker shit, see a dice game, see a motherfucker over in the corner fucking, all in one
in one alley.
All in one alley. All this shit going on in one alley. You'll see one nigga. Look, and in the middle of all that, you'll see a nigga cutting through the alleyway running from the police.
What?
It goes down.
Yeah.
Alleys had a lot of activity, you know, and it's crazy because everything, when I moved somewhere else, things changed. Like the way I had to go about taking out my trash, you know, where I grew up, we had like one of the furthest row houses away from the trash can, so I had to walk all the way around the block with my trash. And it wasn't out the back door, it was out the front door, because in the wintertime, we zip up the back with plastic, and my mama wasn't having it. Like, no, you're not opening this, you got to go around.
Right.
Walk with trash.
Right. Because it snows a lot now. Snows there a lot and it gets real cold there, right?
Yeah, I want to talk to you about the weather.
Oh, hell yeah. It does get cold. I mean, it probably gets colder other places, but it gets pretty cold. And, you know, you kind of grow used to it. Like, I haven't felt the feeling of frostbite in my toes and fingers in about 7 years because I ain't been there since I moved almost 7 years ago. But it's a feeling, but it also creates a certain resilience and fortitude.
Damn sure
because,
do.
like, yeah, you know, I remember growing up and having to take the bus, and you know, then we didn't have no trackers for the bus. You just know the bus it's supposed to come at this time, but that don't mean it's gonna come at that time.
And everybody at the bus stop be guessing and shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. And you get out there, you don't know if it's coming or if you missed the bus.
Right.
And you're out there
Right.
trying to figure it out. You end up just saying fuck it and walking.
Hey, my G. Ain't nothing like that shitty ass feeling of knowing you missed your bus.
Nah. I'm telling you.
How do you know?
Especially if they don't come every 10 minutes.
Because that motherfucker don't show up. That's how you know. Shit.
Yeah, how you know? Yeah, you just waiting like, man.
You thinking you on time? In 45 minutes to a whole hour go by.
I guess I moved.
Looking down
I moved before I got the experience of really going and really like roaming the city, getting on the bus, just getting in a taxi. My mom snatched me out the city before all that stuff started happening. So I guess it's a good thing.
I kind of miss that stuff though.
I was about to ask you that.
Absolutely. And it you know, it's just a wake up call. That's my roots, you know, and I need to go visit my roots more often because, like, that it's a piece of you.
What up, Pittsburgh?
I miss, like, even if you got a car, at some point you taking the train or the bus up there. Like, you don't want to be driving around downtown looking for parking, paying a grip just for something. Like, if you got to go to court,
right?
Like, they make you go downtown for court a lot, and you probably gonna end up taking the train, going into the subway, and then getting on over to the courthouse. But all the moving pieces, it's like, it's a beautiful thing, but, you know, a lot of times they glorify the bullshit that's going on, and the bullshit is there, and it's very much there, you know, but what I've grown to understand is the bullshit is everywhere.
Exactly.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
let
me ask you a question to piggyback off of what you just said. So since you relocated, right? Does that make your skills? Because it's like now things are not moving as fast as they would. You get to see everything happen before it happens. So do you feel like that's a benefit to where you at right now?
I feel like all of it is a benefit. Like, I feel like, I guess to explain that, I gotta kind of elaborate on my story. So, you know, all I've done well, not all, but a lot of my time spent up there was involved in music, engineering, producing, being an artist. And the only reason I ever started engineering was because I didn't have no money for no big studios back then. It's a lot easier now, but I had to test myself because it had to get done, you know? And then I found out I was good at it, and I kept going. And, you know, after doing that I've been doing that since high school, so I did that it sounds crazy, but a couple decades now. Right. It's like, okay, let me go try. I wanted to be close to Atlanta. You know, I always had a connection to Atlanta because that's where my old man been since I was 5. So I had family down here, you know, and I ended up in Columbus, which is like 100 miles southwest of Atlanta, because I was just I was ready to thug it out till I figured out how to get on. Like, but I was looking for a place where I could cater to my music, raise my dogs, and rest my head all in one. And I had found a spot out here, so I never looked back. I hopped in my car, packed my shit, and came down here. So when I got down here, I realized it wasn't Atlanta. You know, Atlanta's still more metropolitan than this, and I enjoy my solitude sometimes, so I got a lot of that down here, and it took some adjusting, but you know, like I'm not really.
You miss the city life? You miss the fast pace?
I do, but not all of it.
Right.
I mean,
some of it, not all of it.
I miss it because it keeps you sharp. Like sometimes I feel like I'm sharp here, but you got to stay on point. It's more densely populated.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So you move a little differently.
Right.
And I think that's a skill to have, and I think you gotta keep it sharp like a knife. You know?
Right.
And down here it's a different set of skills. Like, you know, one thing I learned about the South, man, you know, it's a lot of skills that people up north may not have if they grew up in the inner city, like hunting.
Right.
You know, hunting.
Right.
Fishing. Those are things that if you really was raised without your old man and your uncle or something, you really got to teach yourself or learn later in life.
Right.
And I mean, those are advantageous for survival. Hunting, fishing, identifying certain herbs and plants and shit.
Milking cows and feeding pigs and chickens and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gardens and stuff.
That stuff was a piece that I didn't really attain up there that I'm gaining down here. Like, man, I ain't never seen no snakes in Chicago.
Right.
It ain't no snakes in Chicago?
Motherfucking lizards and shit.
Hey, yo.
Wait, it ain't no snakes in Chicago?
Not in the city.
There's some snakes, like garter snakes, but it's not you're not gonna really see no snakes in the city, you know. You will see deer. You might see where I live. I've seen coyotes, and every now and then you'll see a fox, but I had never seen an owl before, but they up there, but I've never seen it. I never heard one until I moved down here and first got resting my head. I hear this noise, and you know, as a kid, you taught what an owl sounds like, but then I heard it. I'm like, damn, I think that's an owl. That's common shit.
The motherfucker's big as hell.
It's like, wow, it's a big ass owl sitting on my porch.
Right. They make a lot of noise too when they go to fly off. They sound like somebody over there in the bushes.
I'm telling you, and they don't got no eyelids to blink, so they just be staring at your ass.
Hell yeah. Hey, I almost hit one standing in the road last night.
An owl?
See?
Yeah.
Hey, see, this shit is a learning experience, and I try to take it all and absorb it, because I ain't never seen an armadillo till I moved down here either.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
Man, I hit an armadillo. That shit hit my car so hard.
I don't think I've ever even seen one at the zoo.
They out here.
Really?
No.
They out here, but they sneaky too.
They look like a possum with armor.
Yup. Basically, they got a bulletproof vest on. You right.
On everything.
No, I don't think I've seen an armadillo.
I have a different type of peace down here. A lot more land than I would ever be able to. I'm gonna say ever, but they don't even make spaces as big up there.
Right.
You know, maybe downstate, but not in Chicago. Even if it costs a grip, it's not gonna have a lot of land.
Right.
9 times out of 10. So I can appreciate the land. I like my peace. I create differently, but I also, you know, when you get that kind of comfort, I don't keep it sharp.
Right.
You know, can't nobody come knock on my door, but you be able to come to your door and knock hard as hell and run off. You know, that creates some kind of trigger in you.
So like, you're knocking on my door.
I don't be wired right when the fourth come around and shit.
Right.
I feel you.
Types of shit.
I feel you. Yo, I went home to Jersey like 6 years ago, right? On the 4th of July. And the way the fireworks go off in the South versus bouncing off of those buildings, the whole time we on the porch playing spades, I'm P-Noid like, nigga, y'all sure y'all don't want me to go get my gut?
On everything.
Yeah. Them
don't feel right.
Right. You feel the shockwave and everything.
Yeah. So I'm out here just soaking it up. But you know what else is I'm a thinker, man. And when I walk around here, I just be in my thoughts. I walk my dogs. So when I walk dog, I get to see different things that I probably wouldn't just walk around. I don't just stroll. So if I got my dog, I can stroll different places and see different things. And man, until I moved down here, I never really seen an antebellum house, like a slave house, or the design of a house that looked like the houses back then, and land that this soil 200 years ago, this house was standing and had slaves. That type of shit got to do something to your psyche.
Right.
Plantations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It does do something to your psyche.
Shit. Yeah, I believe it. And then I get to thinking, like, some families may be on the same land that their family was enslaved on ages ago. Like, you might still be in the same city or close, and that's a deep thing right there, man. And then I think about the we'll call them the colonizers. I think about them, and the same thing. Like, y'all still might be on the same land where y'all had people enslaved.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
And so it creates a different type of energy, man. And I've adapted real quick, because up there, I'm sure y'all know, like, up there, you're gonna have some racist people, but they ain't gonna be racist to your face. Down here, they gonna let you know. Fuck with you, stay your ass away.
Oh yeah.
But I'd rather know.
Exactly. Hey, I be talking about that sneaky racism versus that in your face shit. I like that in your face shit way better.
Yeah, let me know so we can know we can coexist. You don't like me, I don't like you.
Right, that part.
Right. It's crazy when you talk about the energy. We went to Charleston like 3 years ago or so, and we went to the Mother Emanuel, where Dylan Roof killed all those people in the church, and just standing on the steps, there was an energy, and it wasn't like a happy celebratory energy. It was a somber, depressing, like super depressing energy. Like, I had to leave. I didn't want to go back, because you could really feel the pain and trauma of what happened, and then slavery, because you're in Charleston, and that's where they brought the first slaves.
Yeah, ain't that where the what they call the Geechees?
Yes.
Is out there, right? Them island, Gullah Island, something like that.
Yes. Yeah. And there, the slave trade post, I think, was there. I don't think we got to see it, but that's where they put it and bought the first slaves and sold the first slaves. So all of that is like major. I don't ever want to feel energy like that again. And it's crazy that people live around energy like that.
But that's everywhere.
But I think we are spiritual beings. And I don't know, I can't speak for them.
Right.
But we are spiritual beings, and that's deeply rooted. So I believe we can feel energy a lot differently than other people may understand.
Right.
And I be feeling that, like, I don't think I create that feeling. You can feel it. And so that's been an adjustment. Now, I've done a little history of this place, and interestingly enough, this place is the place where the last battle of the Civil War happened.
In Columbus?
Yeah. And actually, I think his name is General Pemberton. That's the guy who invented cola. His house, only the front of it still stands, but his house is here.
In Columbus?
Yeah, they say it's always been a bad argument, because they say Coca-Cola started in Atlanta, But in fact, the general lived, the guy who invented it lived down here. And same with RC started down here. It's a lot of things that started down here. So Coca-Cola, the general, was in the war, and I believe he was trying to come up with something to help the pain.
Right, yeah, he was trying to make a tonic or some shit. He was trying to make a tonic or some shit, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's how Coke ended up with cocaine in it.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was intentional. That was like.
Yeah, that didn't happen by accident.
Oh.
It's Coke. That is in the name. Shit.
Yeah, they still use cocaine leaves to make Coca-Cola, but it doesn't have the active ingredient. It's crazy.
They say it don't. They say it don't have the active ingredient.
Motherfuckers be wondering why they can't sleep at night.
Right up the wall and shit. That's why it ain't no damn caffeine.
Well, I'm drinking 7-Up, the uncola.
I got water.
Right. You gotta stay off that motherfucking Coca-Cola, boy. That shit. That's liquid booger sugar.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So I wanted to another part of the show I wanted to talk about was discrimination in corporate America. And as you know, like, I'm not on camera, I have to protect my assets. So there's a reason why I'm not on camera.
And
I'm
sorry, because we're not in the same room. Go continue.
Right. Thank you, kind sir. So but there is a light that needs to be shown on the subject. So I wanted to talk to you about the discrimination in the workplace as and not just like any workplace. I'm not talking about like poor workplace. I'm talking about the corporate America where you see the billion dollar industry is what I'm talking about. So have you ever had, or do you feel like you've ever had an experience with discrimination in the workplace?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot, often, actually. Yeah. Even in the virtual world.
That's crazy.
And I wanted to say, it's messed up. You're off camera for that reason, but that speaks a lot to discrimination and freedom of speech.
Right. Right. You get me.
So, I've had a lot of discrimination, and over time, me as a person and as a man, I try to reflect on things and see what I could have done different in any situation. And sometimes, self-accountability is important. However, there is much discrimination. And a lot of times with me, what I've experienced is they don't want you. You can be ambitious, but don't be more ambitious than them. Or you could be good, but you can't be better than me. Or you can command these people well, but don't be able to command them better than me. Right. Because if you do, you will be disciplined.
Right. Right.
The unfortunate thing is, all my life, I've been dealing with discrimination because, well, I'm melanated, but I'm also tall. For some reason, they think tall people are super aggressors.
Intimidating. So, your height is intimidating.
Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is, growing up, now I don't know if growing up in a two-parent household would yield the same instruction, but growing up, I was kind of taught to dumb it down.
What do you mean
like,
by
man,
that?
You're scared. You got to take it easy, man. You got to fall back some. Stay, don't say too much.
Don't stir the pot.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I had to unlearn that spirit of fall back.
Don't say
you know,
nothing. Right.
But it's a wise piece of advice, but it's a safe piece of advice. And anything that I've ever attained that I consider great, it did not happen safely. It wasn't reckless, but it took some calculated risk, you know. And as a man, I mean, I couldn't dilute myself for nobody. That doesn't mean I have to be ignorant, but I don't have to act like you're smarter than me unless I'm doing that for a technique for positioning, you know.
Right.
But to do that regularly is not the move.
Right.
And that's what I feel like corporate America wants people like myself to do. Can I we can go to
you can I'm not gonna say anything about anything. This is your experience, your interview. You share what you feel comfortable sharing.
All right. So, most of the time, I was taught as a kid entrepreneurship very early on. I was given trumpet lessons in like 8th grade to people that age and younger, and I would make like $25 an hour doing that in 8th grade. Now, I didn't work 40 hours doing that, but that taught me a good value of $1.
Right.
$25 an hour in 8th grade. When I was in 8th grade, it was around 96. So that's pretty good, you know, and it taught me that you can make more than they tell you should be making. And ever since then, that's why I've always been an entrepreneur of some sort. I always had a hustle, and a legit one. You know, I always taught trumpet lessons. I ran studio time. I started in my bedroom running studio time, but in the course of a day, in about 4 hours at 17, I would have made $150. You know, and shit, back then, you can't really go to work and make that minimum wage when you're a kid. They trying to give you the least amount possible. So you can't pull the wool over my eyes about a lot of things because I had to figure out how to make $1 on my own. And really, the only reason I ever got to corporate America deeply was because I moved to pursue my entrepreneurship more, but I had to keep the dream alive somehow.
Right.
You know. And we could dive into that too. Like, I didn't have to go to work, but to be honest with you, when I got down here, it's like I made to start off, you're gonna make a lot. If you run in the studio, you can make a lot of money off rap, but that doesn't mean everybody's good. And you got a combination of art of people that rap that want to be in the streets, and people in the streets that want to rap. And you got to figure out the difference between the two because they both are dangerous. You know. And I decided to fall back because I rested my head where my studio was, and this is a fully built out studio. But I rest my head here now. I don't know nobody here because I moved somewhere I've never heard of before, and I got to deal with. I'm not finna align with you because you come here for studio time, and if you got an issue, and then I start seeing everybody got issues, so I'm like, nah, I'm gonna fall back from this and go to work for a little bit. So then I ended up working for a corporation, starting from the bottom, and just grabbing it by the reins and going in and progressed pretty fast and moved up the ranks to like a manager, or at that job you call it a team lead, and you know, had to find my way through that and stuck around. I think I spent that corporate job about years, and I did pretty good. Sometimes it was a struggle because they want to work you. What I realized is these jobs want to work you so hard that you do not have the time or energy to put into your own dreams. And that's universal. That's not even racially discriminatory. However,
but you know, that's at every level too, though. From the bottom to the top, it's at every level.
Yeah, at every single level.
Right.
And the higher up, the messed up thing about working for a corporation is the higher up you get, the more money you make, the more you feel like you are stuck with them, because it's harder to find another job to replace that or make more than that right out the gate if you leave.
Right.
You know? So
right.
You done work with them a couple years, now you done escalated your income, and now they own you, or they feel they do.
Right. Ain't got enough PTO in the world to get away from them.
Yeah, you changed your lifestyle, and dealing with corporations, you got insurance, and it's security.
Right.
You know, and they know this. So then they feel like I don't even know if they know they're discriminating.
They do.
I think it's just systemic.
People do.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely. They know. They know that you know you're being discriminatory. You know. You can say you don't know, but you know. So with that, and I'm not trying to interrupt you. I apologize. I wanted to ask you though, at what point did you see you were not going to go to another level?
I had some of the highest numbers on the floor when I was in a particular department and was killing it. And you know, when you did good in this department, they couldn't give you money because of tax purposes, I guess, but they would give you Amazon value. And I had ran that up so high, I was in the thousands with the Amazon money, but I wanted to be a supervisor, and I just kept applying and kept interviewing. I had at least 10 interviews, and my numbers was up above par all the time.
So when you say numbers, though, what do you mean by numbers? What do you mean by numbers?
Okay, well, you know, most jobs have metrics, especially corporations, and you have a number that you need to maintain, just like school grades.
Right.
And with that, you know, a certain number is like an A. It's almost basically the same breakdown. Like, I think 90 and up is kind of like an A, and between the 80s is a B, and so on.
Okay.
And my stuff stayed around 90 and up for at least a year.
Right.
And there were other people that were accelerating faster and getting promoted higher, and they did not equate to my likability, my ability to reach my team and get them to perform, and my ability to articulate and come up with new ideas. And what they did was they keep saying it's a certain format that you need to follow when being interviewed. And I'm like, come on, this is ridiculous. You know, there should be no reason that my numbers are up and be interviewed 7 to 10 times for the same type of position and not get that secured. However, I started looking around, and this is in a virtual environment, and I noticed, and I think it's a good thing for Black women, but y'all get discriminated on too. I know this, but they will let y'all in this corporate world. It seems that they would let y'all in one step higher than us. Maybe not two, but one step. So there was
definitely
a handful of Black women that were supervisors.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then the next step up was site manager. I've seen a plethora of Black women as supervisors, but not site managers. But I did not see many Black men as supervisors. And one of my former supervisors, when I was a team lead, he was a supervisor. He was a light-skinned Black man, real light. Should that matter in a virtual world? No, but maybe it does, you know, because I didn't see too many more. And, you know, it's unfortunate because I heard that he's no longer in the land of the living.
Yes.
And that kind of hurt me to the core, because I heard after. And a lot of times when you build friendships with people in a work environment, you talk at work, and you may shoot the breeze every now and then outside of work, but it's predominantly at work, so you may miss the understanding that something happened to them.
Yeah, that camaraderie.
You know what I mean? And I got the news late that this man committed suicide.
Ooh.
And that shit really that hurt my feelings. I looked in my call log to see the last time I talked to him was a few months back. And I believe after what I heard that suicide was based on work. You know, and that should never be a reason to not want to be here.
Right.
And working this same job, I understand the stress that they try to push you under. And he got the supervisor, and I never did. And I felt like I hit a wall because I was moving around. I couldn't. They just never wanted to move me up. And what I will not allow anybody to do is try to convince me that I'm not good enough.
Right.
Especially without constructive criticism telling me where I missed the point to get to the next level. Now, if you give me some criticism, I can accept that. If I need to work on something, I will have accountability and fix that. You know, but when I was at my best there, I should have been promoted and I didn't. And I just felt it was for the reasons of discrimination. And yes, you can be discriminated against in a virtual environment because for some reason, most of us, when you hear somebody over audio, you can identify whether they're black or not. I don't know if you can identify other races, but you can pretty much they sound black. Sometimes you get it wrong. I had a couple coworkers, some people on my team that I thought were white, and then I had a video and they were black. So, but you can hear it. It's something in our voice, and it's not necessarily that we're not articulated. It's just something about us that you can hear it, and so that can create some discrimination. And you know, when you're passionate, that turns into you being aggressive. When you want to get it done, but see, and when you disagree, that is taboo, and I don't like that. I don't like that in friends. I don't like that in business. I don't want no yes men. And I thought, as a ambitious person, I would never cut anybody's throat to get to where I'm trying to go. But I would think you want somebody to tell you the truth and not agree with you.
Right.
You know, and it started seeming like they wanted me to just tuck my head like I was told as a kid and dilute myself and stay in line, you know? And I just ain't built like that, especially learning how to make money on my own. It might be tougher. There might be days where you don't make that money, but it's more promising and you don't have to answer to people like that, you know? So,
so after that, you found more work. Did you suffer discrimination again?
You mean at another job?
Yeah.
No, but I moved out of corporate America because at this point, you know, I had created a different life for myself. So, we didn't even get into that. So I'm moving around, and then I couldn't get to supervisor. So strategically, I tried to move to another department that paid about 50 cents more, but they're opening for supervisors. So my plan was to put in work there and then elevate, but it didn't go like that. The workload was extremely heavy. A lot of things didn't make sense, and all of the responsibility fell onto the management and not the team. So the team could get away with anything. They could get away with call avoiding. They had a very long rope for them. They could get away with call avoiding and doing things they're not supposed to do at work for a long time before they got them out of there. Way hard to get them out of there, but you make one mistake, you're out of here. It's like they're holding you to a different standard. And yeah, that's cool. You can be held to a slightly different standard, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And in my case, I felt like I found my workload was heavy. I found a loophole to kind of set a place marker to finish my work over the weekend. And it was not illegal or something that I couldn't do. It was just something nobody had thought of doing. And basically, it was used to get me out of there. It got me fired, and the accountability on that was maybe I shouldn't have done it, but it was not something that should have been warranted a firing. It was something that I felt should have been looked at like corrective action of sorts. You know, I had gotten in real good with my upper management in my former department. I was supervisor because I felt like it was just many people in that department trying to be supervisor. And they told me they had never heard of such a thing being something to lose your job over.
Right.
So, these people were, they were not, he was higher than site manager at the time. He was like operations manager or something that told me this. So that leads me to believe that if this happened in that department, I would have had a real strict conversation. I would have corrected myself and I would have never done it again. However, my self-accountability is that I gave them the tools to do what they already wanted to do, was get me out of there. And I felt like they wanted to get me out of there because I was not a yes man. I worked hard, but I was a little behind. It was very hard work to keep up with the workload that they give you. So, and also, I don't think there was too many other black men in that department. And I just think that they did not like the way that I could reach the advisors more than they could. The advisors loved me, not because I was just nice to them, but because I was somebody that they could look at and aspire to be, because I wasn't no uptight model of a manager that suit and tie, act like I don't have any type of chill to me. I wasn't that. It's raining really hard. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but
yeah, that's what that is.
I thought you was running. I thought you was running bad water. Some shit.
Hey,
if y'all hear me, we'll get through though.
Is it storming down there real bad?
It is storming. It just started. It's storming bad.
Oh man, well, y'all be safe. I know usually when it hits y'all, it comes up the way. Y'all be sending tornadoes and stuff. So y'all be
you
safe.
Ain't never lied.
Y'all be safe.
Storm season, it come right up the coast.
Right. So if you had
one
to,
of the smartest things what's up?
If you had to give our listeners a piece of advice as far as entrepreneurship, and not getting lost in the mix, like not dumbing yourself down, not diluting yourself for the dollar, what would it be? What would that piece of advice be?
Never let I got a few sayings that I go by, but one of them, never let anybody talk you out of what you believe you're supposed to do. You know, sometimes you share your desires and passions with people and they tell you you can't do that, but it's really them projecting what they feel about their go-getterisms. You know, like it'd be like, no, you can't do that, or why would you do that? You gotta weed them people out because they will really put a strain on your energy. And you know, there's only so much energy that you have and so much time in a day. But as an entrepreneur, if you believe in your thing, focus hard on it because you can lock it in. And right now, I'm just in the transition, focusing on mine. I'm still an entrepreneur, but I'm a part-time entrepreneur. I'm not full-time. And the reason I'm not full-time yet is because I have a family. But if I was dolo, I'd be doing this and only this.
Right.
I know that you can reach these goals. There's an interesting thing about where I come from. A lot of people in my class or the classes, a couple classes around my class of high school are really making moves in the culture. Okay. Some of them, I'm not going to throw names, but some of them produce big TV shows, big music, sportscasters, and I'm saying that to say those are positions that a lot of people feel they can't reach. They may want to, but they may not know how, or they ultimately in the back of their mind, they may think they're not going to get there, and you got to get that out your head, and you really have to be what some people would consider a bit delusional. You know, I feel like you have to have calculations, and you really have to map your time and be as organized as a job, but don't feel like you can't get there, because you can get to anything you set your mark on if you put the steps in place. And you may fail 9 times, but all you got to do is win 1 time, and then that's gonna open some doors.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
Right.
and at the end of the day, us, man, we gotta save our own ship.
Right.
And really, you know, I've come to grips that they don't. There's some that do, but they don't care about us doing well. And if you don't have that job, they will replace you in a heartbeat and forget about you. They don't care how your family's gonna deal with it. Nobody cares about that shit. Now, some people, like my man, who knows what he was going through when he lost his job for whatever reason? Who knows? But he felt that he was hopeless and took himself out.
Right.
Now, there's people on the other end of that may take you out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
man, I lost my job. I'm finna go pull up. You know?
Oh,
So
that
it goes
postal
both ways.
stuff.
And,
People going postal.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and what I say is, there's no job that if you're not owning it, then it ain't, you know, it ain't that serious. We got to work on our own thing, because that's the only way we're gonna create wealth.
Right.
None of these jobs will make you rich. They
Exactly.
will keep your bills paid and maybe give you a
Exactly.
vacation and some time off, but getting rich,
Exactly.
you got to find other ways.
We talk
And
about
you
that
have to-
all the time on
Yeah,
here.
it's designed to keep you in line.
Exactly.
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 and take up so much time, especially when your salary is designed to take up so much time that you barely got time for your family to even nurture them.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it may be a struggle, but it can be done. And we just have to keep going.
Right.
And I'm a testament to that. Everybody got to just keep going. If you believe in something, don't let nobody talk you out of it. Now, if it's constructive criticism, hear it. And that don't mean you got to take it, but hear it.
Right.
You know, if they real and you feel like they're a real one, then they won't steer you wrong. But just their opinion is not the last opinion.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, it may be something to take heed to, but you got to go with your gut, because those gut decisions may be what changed the world.
Right.
You absolutely right about that. And we definitely appreciate you coming and dropping the jewels that you dropped on the Real Rap Talk podcast. Like, J-Bell, I appreciate you. Tell the people where they can find you one more time on social media.
J-Bell, not D-A, J-Bell, T-H-E, Great. J-Bell the Great, J-A-Y-B-E-L-L-T-H-E, Great. Find me. Let's work on some music. Let's talk shop. Let's talk about race relations. Let's talk about it all. Let's figure out how to build and take off, because I want anything positive, and if we can keep it in the circle, then I love it, because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, they don't care what happens to you.
You're right about that.
They're not supposed to, you know. But
You're right
the way I
about
look
that
at it
too.
is, either you're gonna be the dominant one, or you're gonna be the submissive one, and take control of the steering wheel before somebody else does of your own destiny.
Take control. You heard it here first. Take control of the steering wheel. Well, we appreciate you. I am definitely going to be reaching out to you again soon, J-Bell. Thank you so much for coming.
Please do. We got to talk about music culture one day.
Oh, definitely that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I appreciate it. You be safe and you have a great night, okay?
Hey, y'all too, man. I appreciate y'all even considering me. It's all love.
Of course. Thank you. See you later.
Now, I'm going to go roll me up one and enjoy my night. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Peace out.
All right, later on. Peace.
Y'all heard it here first.
All right, so now I could talk. I get a lot of the things that he said.
Right.
And like what I think that we didn't get a chance to talk about when we spoke about like your humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's humble beginnings are different. So with that even being said, imagine that we put people out here in the world, and because they passed the fucking test, we have to work together.
You're right.
You don't get invited to the cookouts and the birthday parties and the anniversaries, but you work with these people. You have either good working relationships with people, or you have in between, and then you have little fucked up working relationships with people, right? But you don't get invited to the barbecues and all the fun shit if you are not in the circle. It's no different than school. So recently in Rock Hill, we just had the video of the whatever the fuck, the cam shit that be on the
body
cop.
cam.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. So we had the body cam come out it was supposed to rival the actual filming that the woman had that filmed the incident in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And listening to how this cop was talking threw me back. Cause I'm like, why? Yeah. Why is he talking like he's right? You feel me? Like, I watched this shit. Like, go watch it. It's on the internet.
I haven't seen it yet. I didn't know it was
Go
out.
watch it. So he's talking like he's right. And he's talking like, you know how people try to, I guess, finesse their way when they deal with black people, so they try to talk black. And the whole escalation of the situation could have been avoided. It was real simple techniques that should have been used, wasn't used. So I don't know if that's the one that got fired, but I can imagine that
somebody got fired. Yeah,
the way he went about it basically escalated that situation. Shout out to my man's brother who they dropped all the charges against him. But the one that was dirty, they definitely, I don't know. I hope they don't do him dirty just because of the circumstances involved. Like, I hope they treat him like they would treat somebody else in that situation when they put the charges on him and give him his time or whatever. But, yeah, the cop was definitely in the wrong, man. So I hope everybody that got a fucking opinion about that situation, because I think the thing that really created the tension between black and whites in a lot of the comment sections that I read, a lot of white people was just like a no-brainer. He had drugs. He broke the law. This wasn't about him. This was about the brother who was given permission to obtain his brother's belongings.
Right, because he wasn't there, right? He came on to the scene. He
was allowed to be called to the scene by the same cops. So it's almost like, you got to look at it like a setup. I'm going to invite you to my birthday party, but we're going to jump you. And then I'm going to act like I ain't know nothing about this shit, but I invited you. And it was my people that jumped you. Like, there's no other way to look at that shit but like that. Yeah, we know the other brother had charges. This shit wasn't about him.
Right.
It always trips me out that when we get into this racial divide, that some people fail to look at the facts that's right in front of your face. You think we're angry because he had drugs and a gun and priors and all of that shit. No.
Not really.
You missed the whole, but this be that shit that be pissing us off. The shit that happened is right in front of your face. But you don't see that because you want to focus on the negative. So speaking about that, stop. We're not as dumb as you think we are. Number one, black people smart than a motherfucker. Temperamental at times, yes we are. because we deserve to be. We deserve to be ready to on site with you niggas, right? But if you want things and this is for people who really want to see change, the way you think, you need reprogramming. Because if you come into a situation not knowing what's all on the table, your opinion doesn't fucking matter. And you might get punched in the fucking face in the process. Don't let this social media shit get you fucked up. There's no need for that. Understand where I'm coming from. We don't have to be at each other's throat like that. Because at the end of the day, we speak the English language. Feel me on this. Watch how I break a motherfucker down. I'm so cold. It might be this game go. We speak the same language. Feel me on that. Like, this is how intelligence really works. It doesn't matter if you use a 13-letter word, if even one of them motherfuckers exists. It doesn't matter if we use a 3-letter word. Same shit is the same shit. If you are about understanding and growth, and you actually do give a fuck, we'll get along. That's how simple black people are. But this is why we get upset. Because you know this shit. The vast majority of our teachers in the system, school system, employment, que sera, whatever the fuck, are white. Rarely do we have a black boss. So when y'all get mad, I look at it like you should be mad at you. Because you should have been a better teacher. True. This is how you flip that. Oh, them niggas, they said, nah. We ain't start this shit here. Y'all did. So when you get angry, you get your little races and all that, blah, 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 and you ain't trying to hear shit. That's why.
Well, we all know if that would have been a white boy, even with drugs, they would be outraged. They wouldn't have even
But
cared.
My point is the
drugs.
obvious, though. Feel me? We speak the king's fucking language. We ain't speaking Ebonics, nigga. We ain't talking some German shit. We ain't speaking Chinese shit. Right. English. Right. Simple fucking English. Right. So we speak the king's language. Right. You taught us the king's language. They did. If somewhere in translation we misunderstood some shit, simple math is to bridge the understanding. Right. So who the fuck are you to go against the grain? Who the fuck are you to point the finger and not try to understand? Mm-hmm. And what's funny, you get mad like I get mad. It just may be about different shit. Ain't a motherfucker out there can't say, oh, Harold's never been angry. Oh, Harold be fucking angry. Harold may just have a different way of showing how angry he is. I'm not going around chopping motherfuckers up and burying them up under the fucking house. I'm not pushing my wife off a fucking cliff. You dig? I'm not putting shit in motherfuckers' water or drink so they can fucking expire. Who does that? Right. Oh, we can do shit like pow, 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 and then we go. Right. Okay. Most of us don't want to pow, pow, pow and be gone. I don't like niggas half the time either. I grew up around them. Got some in my family. Sometimes I act niggerish. But at the end of the day, We speak the king's fucking language. That's the one thing we definitely can't argue about. Unless you Mexican, Asian, or some other race that don't speak English. So once again, if we speak in the same language, why do we have all these misunderstandings? Why we can't see shit through the same lens when it's some obvious shit? Why do motherfuckers turn a blind eye, but yet you still talking about some shit you ain't doing nothing about? Because at the end of the day, it makes you a fucking coward. And the fact that you get to hide behind your little keyboard, come on, man. What the fuck? Like,
was you on Yahoo again? Was these Yahoo comments?
nah. But I'm just asking the question.
Right.
What does that solve? Yeah, you could get in a room, a chat room, and stir up some shit.
Quick as hell.
But that makes you part of the problem. No matter what, you threw the first rock. The power is being able to undo this shit. So I'm bringing this up because I watch how social media brings the ugly out of people. The situation can never just be what it's supposed to be. And I'm trying to figure out, are we that goddamn stupid nowadays that we'll just keep throwing gas on the fire until the fire goes out? And I'm like, nobody gets justice, equality in these situations. And another thing, some people don't even give a fuck about your comments.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. Some people don't read your shit.
Like me.
Right.
I do not. That's what I'm at. I do not read the comments.
Yo, this shit is fucking bananas. But people want to matter. And I get that.
Yes.
People want to feel like they get to be heard. I feel that. I do.
They also want to push buttons. They also want to infuriate people.
But what I'm saying, the people who sit around and start shit, I want those other people who allow them to get you riled up. They might be on coke. Feel me? You arguing with a nigga that's doing an ass coke. You arguing with a drunk motherfucker. And God forbid you arguing with a little 8-year-old kid. Thinking it's a gold-growing ass person out this motherfucker. And you about to have a whole stroke, done smoked 2 packs of cigarettes, arguing with a motherfucker on social media. Crazy. You motherfuckers need to stop.
Wait, they smoked 2 packs. It ain't even face to face. I thought you was about to say something.
Stop. Like, you don't even understand how crazy this shit has gotten, and you allow this to control you.
Crazy.
Feel me? Come on, man. Don't get me wrong. I done had beef with real motherfuckers on social media. I'm not about to argue with no 8-year-old kid, man. Feel me? I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, because all you have to do is this.